Hey, as promised, this is a full guide for the build I'm going to league start with, which is Exsanguinate Mines on Elementalist. First, I just want to mention the character in the background is not representative of the final product. The changes to Elementalist are not up, obviously, and I did it with whatever I could find in standard. It was mostly to test out Golem's survivability and simulate the fizz damage to fire conversion. It still tanks a Shaper Slam to the face though. So how is the build played? You throw up to 5 mines with each cast, and each mine will cast Exsanguinate at up to 11 enemies. And using chain support, each of these 11 tendrils will chain up to 2 more times, or 3 if you get the Arcane chain support. Theoretically, more than 100 enemies can be hit at every mine throw. For bosses or tanky rares, you can increase your damage by applying Assassin's Mark, throwing a bear trap at them, add a frost bomb to apply cold exposure. The build has a very high clearing, as you can see. It's great for content like Legion. It's a tanky all-rounder. It has more than enough DPS to clear all the mandatory bosses. Due to how mines work, it has potential for bursts against content with some preparation time. For example, all the bosses who have animations before you are able to damage them. Some cons of the build are that it's somewhat complex to understand, there's lots of mechanics involved. The damage can reach high numbers, but not as easily as other builds, if you want to rush running very juicy content like tier 17 with tons of extra content. And the whole archetype of the Golem Elementalist is a bit experimental, since it's kinda new and we cannot test all the changes before a patch drops. But I post updates of how my league start is going, so if you want to stay tuned, please subscribe and help me reach my first 1000. So, an important note about Path of Building, it's a bit weird when it comes to the enemies convert % of their physical damage to fire, because if you enable it, you'll see that it does update your EHP and your fizz damage reduction. I removed a lot of armor so that this is more visible, that's just temporary. But it does not update your fizz max hit, and that's an ambiguous technicality in the way PoE calculates this number. It's not what happens in reality when the enemies convert their fire damage. So to illustrate that, I translate it in this custom modifier as physical damage taken as fire, which here is taken into account in in fizz max hit. This is okay to do because I'm using just one of these two modifiers. If you use both of them, they are multiplicative with each other, so you have to do a bit of math to figure out the total % that you should put yourself. Oh, and another note about tankiness, I cannot find a way to apply the new Shaper Winter, which makes half of your shield effect lessen the damage of enemies. It is present on Call of the Void, but as you can see it's in red, and when you see red text in PoE it means it's not implemented. Maybe it will be implemented this league once they put in the changes to Elementalist, hopefully. And I set the chill effect to 30, but it depends on so much stuff. So against bosses this might be too high. Honestly, you cannot really tell unless you try in games. So for leveling, I suggest you follow Havoc's build and guide that's available on Maxroll. I put the link in the notes tab in the PoE. It will be a very detailed guide. You don't care about the ascendancy part here. You have a passive tree, and you have a little toggle here to see the gems you need. And there's a regex if you want to find the links required for the items. You have to copy and paste this in the search bar in the vendor. You can press Ctrl F, by the way, when you are looking at the vendor inventory. And then yeah, there is a detailed guide, act by act, if you need that. I translated this in the PoE. You have trees, 128, 28 plus, and then early maps for when you respec your mines. It shouldn't be a problem to respec after you're done with the campaign with gold, since Settlers is growing core. I suppose the cost will remain very affordable at low levels. And technically you can switch to Exsanguinate Mines during the campaign, like I would say level 38 plus. But I looked at the numbers and I wouldn't recommend it, just continue blasting through with Armageddon's Brand and Cremation. So yeah, you have the skill gem sets here. So I made 2 setups in the PoE for the 3 skill gems and items. One for when you reach early maps, and it's more of a mid-game target. So that's the first version of the tree at level 75. So grab the life nodes, of course, on the way. You want, of course, the Golem Mastery here. You need these that I remove on the endgame optimized thing to be able to run Herald of Purity. And in the early setup, I'm not running Determination because you need the Enlighten gem to be able to run them as along with Purity of Fire and Hatred. And then you'll want to grab all the mine nodes and masteries. The mana reservation efficiency is also very important from here, from this mana mastery here and from these nodes. And then you can finalize with jewels, sockets, and the frenzy charge here is also a very good DPS boost. We don't have many frenzy charges. For the skill gems, you got a 5 link setup for Exsanguinate. For bosses, you can swap out Chain for Trap and Mine if you need more damage. And then for the items, you should grab a Hrim Sorrow in the beginning as soon as you can for the full physical damage conversion to cold. In endgame we will replace them with rare gloves, but they are pretty hard to get, so in the beginning these will be really good. They might be a bit expensive like the first day or two, but they should go down to 1C quite quickly, unless there's lots of builds that use them. Same for Hit Shiver, it should be a 1C quite quickly. And Taming as well, if I'm not mistaken. So Hrim Sorrow first, Hit Shiver second, then most important is a plus level wand or scepter and shield, along with spell damage and crit if you can. And I suggest that you farm essences, so grab a few nodes on your Atlas tree while you're going through the map tiers. Because this mod, Mine Throwing Speed, will feel really good when you get it, and it comes from Essence of Zeal. So I suggest you farm some of these and try to craft a decent belt yourself. And then for the real min-max endgame setup, it would be really good to grab this Corruption and Hit Shiver. If it does end up a 1C unique, it shouldn't be too costly to get one of these. Usually it's worth it to corrupt a ton of Hit Shivers until you hit it yourself. But it's a very cumbersome thing to do, so depending on the price you might want to just buy it yourself. And this allows us to, along with an Enlighten level 4 gem, so this allows us to run Determination on top of Hatred and Purity of Fire, linked together with level 4 Enlighten. And I'm not sure yet, but Petrified Blood might be a good idea to replace Determination. I'm just a bit inexperienced with Petrified Blood, so I have to think about it, but since this build can easily reach a lot of life regen, it might be a very good aura to run. And we could even grab Pain Attunement for 30% more damage. So I'll give it more thought and maybe try it myself during the league, and I'll report back. And then I grab Dragon's Flight, replica Dragon's Flight for Exsanguinate. If you do go Reap, then of course grab a Reap one, or if you just switch to Reap for big bosses, you can get plus, oh this one is a +1, but you can get a +2 level Amulet. With the new bases you can even get a +4, but that's gonna cost the price of the whole build. Speaking of plus level 2, you can replace, of plus level 2 gems, you can replace your Scepter wand with a +2 this time, and also get a Mine Throwing Speed. Again, the mind throwing speed is really big and comes from Betrayal, Veiled, or Crafting Bench. For the body armor, there's a lot of interesting things to grab. As I mentioned in the previous video, there is Endurance Charge Generation to grab for even more tankiness. You do need this Duration Mastery though. For Ether Words, you have Hatred aura effect, that's good. You also have some spell crit damage otherwise. A nice mod to have is the Veiled or Crafting Bench regeneration of energy shield per second, where a rare or unique enemy is nearby, because that's a weakness in our defenses. If you go the armor energy shield base way, like I did, we don't have many ways of recovering energy shield. And then we have +1 to level of strength gems, so that applies to Exsanguinate. And that comes from Delve, which is fairly rare too. The gloves are quite an important upgrade, and to replace Rimser Row, we need to hit 60% of conversion, so we need a maximum level Ether Words implicit if possible. On top of a crafting bench craft that used to come from Betrayal, and now I'm not sure. At some point it would be good to grab a Bottle Faith, otherwise you can run a Silver Flask or a Diamond Flask. Same for Watcher's Eyes, it's good to grab one with Hatred. There's several versions you can get, and most importantly for tankiness you can get the cold and landing damage taken as fire, so that this gets reduced by our very high max fire resist. And depending on the price, Forbidden Flesh at some point to allocate Frigid Wake, which is a very good node overall, can be chill or frozen, 15% more cold damage. Nearby chilled enemies deal 10% reduced damage with hits, and every 4 seconds we have a chance in 2 to freeze nearby enemies. Oh, and on body armor, gloves and boots, it's good to get a regen life per second suffix. We cannot leech with mines, so it acts as a good way of recovery, and it's usually fairly underpriced. It's not used very often, so people will often overlook it when they price their items. The most important on gloves and boots is actually the life regeneration rate instead of a flat, because that will improve the life regen from all sources, like our stone golem, which offers a ton of flat regeneration. Oh, and of course you can grab a 1 or 2 large cluster. I think the best is some elemental damage with Sadist, because it's pretty easy for us to apply all 3 ailments. That's why we use the Taming Ring. You can get Prismatic Hearts. Getting a 3rd here makes it better in terms of passive points, but it's not mandatory at first. For the mediums, you get mind damage with Expert Sabotage. It's not handled by PoE, but it's basically 10% more damage, almost. And this one is also good, it gives us mind throwing speed, some damage, and a bit of move speed. Alright guys, that's it for today. If there's anything unclear or if you have more questions, suggestions, feel free to comment. And as I said, I will report back on my leaguestarter experience with this build if you're interested. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time, or live on Twitch maybe. See ya!